It's a financial blow. I don't think it's necessarily any other blow than that, to be honest. The reason being, of course, is that we're going to book a $30 billion plus gain on the transaction, given how much Nvidia shares have rallied. And now, unfortunately, that's gone up in smoke. The problem is that if you look at what valuation the company might get on IPO, very unlikely to be such a high figure. And that's why, SoftBank is the real loser from the collapse of this transaction.
Well, they very quickly came out and seemed to suggest that it would be the IPO route. But given how the market mood seems to be shifting on tech valuations, is that a wise idea at this time?
That's a great question. That's something I was thinking about this morning when I was writing today's note. There is another option out there, and that option is actually to do nothing. And the reason being is part of the reason why ARM might struggle to get such a high valuation is because it's halfway through a big transition phase to much broaden the appeal of its microprocessor designs to other categories outside of smartphones. And that requires investment. And so, the profitability of the company right now is not that great. If SoftBank was to wait, say 5 years, and that transition is complete, ARM is back to the level of profitability that it used to be on a much larger revenue base, then you might get a much higher valuation and SoftBank would book that higher profit. But at the moment, that doesn't seem to be on the cards.
Jeff and I go back, like you do, to the Robin Saxby days, and this has always been the most incredible company that just dominates a certain part of chip design as well. Why does it still dominate that space all these years later when there are so many competitors?
Well, if you look in smartphones and in the mobile device market, there are no competitors at all. If you look into higher end computing, the data center and desktop computers and laptops, and obviously the competitor is Intel and the x86 processor design. The thing that is most interesting is that Apple has demonstrated that you can do a viable desktop processor out of an ARM processor, which is something everybody thought was impossible for many years. And so the outlook on that front is actually quite good.